Her sister was chosen until the cowboy walked past and claimed her instead. The small town of Willow Creek was buzzing with excitement. Every year, during the Harvest Festival, families from the surrounding countryside gathered in the town square to celebrate the season's bounty. It was a time of laughter, music, and dance, but it was also a time of tradition. Each year, the townspeople would select a young woman to represent her family in the festival's ceremonies. This was considered an honor, a way to show that a family was respected and well-liked in the community. It was also seen as a sign that the young woman was ready for the responsibilities of adult life and, perhaps, marriage. Emma and Lily Thompson, two sisters who lived on the edge of town, had been preparing for the festival for weeks. Emma, the older of the two, was known for her poise and grace. She had a calm smile and a gentle way of speaking that made people notice her wherever she went. She often helped neighbors with chores and was admired for her kindness. Her younger sister Lily was quieter and shyer. She spent her days helping their mother in the home and tending to the small garden behind their house. Lily loved her sister dearly, but she never imagined that anyone outside her family paid much attention to her. She was content to stay in the background, enjoying the simple pleasures of her daily life. As the morning of the festival arrived, the town square filled with families, musicians, and merchants. Children ran between the stalls laughing and calling to each other. The smell of freshly baked bread and roasted corn filled the air, mixing with the scent of hay and dust. Emma and Lily walked together, their dresses carefully chosen for the occasion. Emma's dress was soft blue, flowing with the breeze, while Lily wore a simple cream-colored gown that matched her gentle personality. They held hands as they moved through the crowd, their excitement mingled with nerves. "Do you think they will choose you this year?" Lily asked softly, glancing up at her sister. Emma shook her head with a small smile. "No, Lily. Everyone expects me to be chosen. It's just how things go. You stay quiet and watch. That's the safest place for you." Lily nodded, but felt a small flicker of hope. Sometimes she imagined what it would be like to be noticed, to be chosen for something important. But she quickly pushed the thought aside, reminding herself that this was not her time. Today was for Emma, as it had always been. The festival began with music. A group of fiddlers played lively tunes, and the townspeople clapped along. Children danced in circles while their parents cheered. Vendors shouted about their goods, offering homemade pies, candles, and ribbons. The mayor of Willow Creek stepped onto a small wooden platform at the center of the square, raising his hand to quiet the crowd. His presence brought a hush over the people, and all eyes turned toward him. "Ladies and gentlemen," the mayor began, his voice carrying across the square, "today we continue a tradition that has been part of Willow Creek for many generations. Each year, a young woman is chosen to represent her family during the Harvest Festival. It is an honor and a responsibility. This year, the town has many fine young ladies to consider, but one will be chosen to carry on this proud tradition." The crowd murmured, excitement filling the air. Emma and Lily stood together, trying to remain calm. Emma's heart raced, though she tried to hide it behind her calm expression. She had always participated in the festival, but she never expected much attention beyond her family and a few neighbors. Today, however, it felt different. The whispers and glances from the townspeople made her feel the weight of expectation pressing down on her shoulders. Lily felt a knot of nervousness in her stomach. She did not want to watch her sister be judged or measured in this way, but she also could not help glancing at Emma, hoping that she would shine and be chosen. Her fingers tightened around her sister's hand, a silent gesture of support and love. The mayor scanned the crowd, pausing as if considering his words carefully. This year the choice was not easy. Every young lady present has shown grace, kindness, and courage. But tradition must continue, and we must choose one to represent her family and the town during the festival. Emma's eyes met those of her parents, who stood nearby with proud smiles. Her mother whispered encouragement. Her father gave a small nod. Emma felt a mixture of pride and anxiety. She wanted to do well, to honor her family, but she also wished for the moment to pass quickly so she could breathe again. The mayor cleared his throat and prepared to announce the chosen young woman. Just as he opened his mouth, a sudden commotion at the edge of the crowd drew everyone's attention. A horse's hooves struck the ground loudly, and dust rose in small clouds. A man had arrived in town, a cowboy, unfamiliar to the residents of Willow Creek. He rode confidently through the square, his hat tipped low and his gaze steady. His presence caused whispers to ripple through the crowd. Emma's attention was momentarily diverted, and she noticed Lily staring at the newcomer with wide eyes. The cowboy dismounted smoothly, his boots crunching on the wooden planks of the platform. He carried himself with quiet authority, but there was something gentle in the way he looked around. For a moment, The entire square seemed to hold its breath. The mayor frowned slightly, uncertain how to proceed. Is there a reason you are here, stranger?" he asked. The cowboy removed his hat and smiled, his voice calm but strong. "I've heard about the festival," he said, "and I've come to meet someone I've been looking for." His eyes found Lily. The crowd gasped, murmuring in surprise. Froze, unsure of what to do. Emma stepped forward instinctively, ready to defend the expected order. "This is a tradition," she said firmly. "Everyone knows that the chosen young woman has always been selected by the town." The cowboy's gaze softened as he looked at Lily. "I know," he said gently, "but sometimes tradition can wait. Sometimes you must see the person in front of you for who they truly are." Lily felt her heart pound. She had never experienced attention like this before. Every eye in the square seemed to focus on her, yet it was not the judgmental gaze she had feared. The cowboy was calm, respectful, and somehow confident in a way that made her feel noticed, important. The mayor, unsure of how to respond, hesitated. The crowd grew restless, whispers spreading like wildfire. Emma's cheeks flushed with a mixture of embarrassment and confusion. She had always been the one expected to shine, and now the spotlight had unexpectedly shifted to her sister. The cowboy extended his hand toward Lily. "Will you dance with me?" he asked. His tone was polite, not demanding. Lily's mind raced. She wanted to say no, to follow the rules and tradition, but her curiosity and a sudden spark of courage nudged her forward. She took his hand, feeling the rough warmth of his skin against hers. The crowd parted slightly, creating a space for them at the center of the square. As the fiddlers began a new tune, the cowboy guided Lily through a gentle dance. She stumbled at first, but he was patient, his hand steadying her. Slowly, her nerves began to fade, replaced by a thrilling sense of freedom. For the first time, Lily felt truly seen, not as the quiet, shy sister, but as someone worthy of attention and respect. Emma watched from the sidelines, her emotions conflicted. She felt pride for her sister, but also a sting of disappointment. She had always expected to be the one chosen, to feel the thrill of recognition. Yet, seeing Lily's smile, her laughter, and the joy in her eyes, Emma realized that perhaps this was not a competition. Perhaps her sister's happiness mattered more than her own expectations. The townspeople, initially shocked, began to clap and cheer. Some whispered that the cowboy had disrupted tradition, but others saw the moment for what it was, a display of courage and sincerity. Lily's parents exchanged glances, their faces reflecting a mixture of surprise, concern, and pride. They had always wanted their daughters to be happy, and perhaps this was an unexpected path to that happiness. As the dance continued, Lily's confidence grew. She moved with grace she never knew she possessed, guided by the cowboy who had appeared like a sudden wind, changing the course of her day and perhaps her life. Emma, standing nearby, realized that this festival, this tradition, had given her sister something more valuable than any honor or recognition. It had given her the chance to be seen for who she truly was. By the time the music ended, the crowd had accepted the unexpected turn of events. Lily's cheeks were flushed with excitement, her eyes shining with a mix of fear and joy. The cowboy gave a small bow, his hand still resting gently on hers. The moment had passed, but its impact lingered, marking the beginning of something new and unplanned. That evening, as the festival continued with food, laughter, and stories around the bonfire, Lily could hardly believe what had happened. She felt a strange mix of excitement and disbelief, knowing that her life might never be the same again. Emma, though quieter now, approached her sister with a soft smile. "You were amazing," she said simply. I'm proud of you." Lily hugged her sister tightly, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and love. "Thank you," she whispered. "I couldn't have done this without you, even if you didn't know it." The festival went on, but for Lily, the world had shifted. She had stepped into the center of attention not by choice, but by fate and the courage of a stranger who had seen her worth. For Emma, it was a lesson in humility and love for her sister. And for the cowboy, it was a quiet victory, not in winning a tradition, but in recognizing someone who deserved to be seen. As the stars appeared over Willow Creek that night, the town was calm, the air filled with the gentle sounds of celebration and the whispers of an unforgettable day. For Lily, the memory of the festival would remain forever, a story of courage, choice, and the unexpected magic that happens when someone notices you for who you really are. The day after the festival, Willow Creek seemed calmer, but the excitement of the previous evening still lingered in the air. News of the cowboy's unexpected claim of Lily spread quickly through the small town. People whispered as they walked along the dusty streets, shaking their heads or smiling at the story. Some found it scandalous that tradition had been broken. while others admired the bravery of the man who dared to make his choice openly. At the Thompson home, the atmosphere was a mixture of curiosity, confusion, and cautious excitement. Lily could hardly sit still. She moved around the house helping her mother with breakfast, but her mind kept drifting back to the cowboy. His calm presence, the way he had looked at her as if she mattered more than anyone else, had left a lasting impression. Every small movement of hers reminded her of him, the way he held her hand, the gentle encouragement in his voice. She couldn't understand why someone like him had chosen her, of all people, but she didn't question it. Deep down, a sense of wonder and anticipation filled her heart. Emma, on the other hand, was struggling with her own feelings. She had always assumed she would be at the center of attention during the festival. She had imagined herself smiling at the crowd, accepting their admiration, and feeling proud of her accomplishments. Now, she watched her younger sister glow in a way she had never seen before, and a mixture of emotions churned inside her. There was pride for Lily's happiness, yes, but also a sting of envy. Emma found herself wondering if she had been overlooked, if her own qualities had been ignored. Their parents, meanwhile, were concerned about what the future might hold. "Do you really know this man?" their father asked Lily during breakfast, his brow furrowed. "He came from nowhere, and now he wants—" "What exactly?" Lily shook her head. "I don't know him well," she admitted honestly, "but he was kind and confident. He treated me with respect. I felt seen, Father. That's all I know." Her mother looked at her with a mixture of worry and understanding. "It is unusual," she said softly, "but perhaps sometimes life gives us opportunities we cannot predict. You must be careful, Lily. But if this man truly means well, perhaps it is not entirely bad." Emma stayed silent, listening to the conversation. She wanted to support her sister, but her heart ached with the feeling of having been passed over. Still, she knew it was not Lily's fault. Emma resolved to hide her disappointment, at least for now, and observe what happened next. By mid-morning the cowboy returned. He had been staying at a small inn on the outskirts of town, and word spread quickly that he was walking into town again. Lily's heart raced as she caught sight of him. He moved with calm purpose, tipping his hat to familiar townsfolk as he passed. His eyes, when they met hers, seemed to hold the same quiet warmth and certainty from the festival. "Good morning, Lily," he said as he approached the Thompson home. "I wanted to make sure you're all right. I hope I didn't frighten you yesterday." Lily shook her head. "You didn't frighten me. I just didn't expect any of it, but I am okay." Emma stepped forward, her expression polite but guarded. "We should talk," she said, directing her words to the cowboy. "Not about yesterday, but about what this means for our family. Traditions are important here, and suddenly, someone from outside walks in and changes everything." The cowboy nodded respectfully. "I understand," he replied. "I do not wish to disrespect your family or the town. I only wanted to speak with Lily, to offer a choice. She does not need to follow anyone but her own heart." Their father finally joined the group, standing tall and firm. "We are practical people," he said slowly. "We have always valued hard work and honesty over showy gestures." "What is it that you want from Lily? Are you asking her to leave her family and home?" The cowboy shook his head. "No. I do not want her to leave everything she knows. I simply wish to spend time with her, to get to know her better. If in time something grows between us, then we can see where it leads. But there is no rush, no pressure. She is free to decide what she wants." Lily looked at him, surprised at his words. He wasn't demanding anything, nor was he trying to impress anyone with wealth or status. He spoke honestly, with respect, giving her space to choose. Her heart softened, and she felt a wave of relief and curiosity wash over her. Over the next several days, the cowboy remained in town. He helped farmers with their work, mended fences, and assisted with livestock. His presence was quietly noticed and appreciated by the townspeople. Some were still skeptical, wary of a stranger who had disrupted tradition, but others began to respect him for his diligence and good character. Lily and the cowboy spent time together each day, often walking along the river or visiting the town's small market. They talked about life, family, and their dreams. Lily learned that he had grown up on a distant ranch, traveling from place to place as work demanded. He had seen much of the world, but he had a strong sense of fairness and integrity. He listened attentively, laughed easily, and treated her as an equal, not as someone to be judged or measured against tradition. Emma watched from a distance at first. She could not help noticing the way Lily's eyes sparkled when she spoke to the cowboy, how her smile came easily, and how her confidence grew. Slowly, Emma began to set aside her own disappointment and see the joy in her sister's life. She realized that sometimes Life's unexpected turns could lead to happiness that tradition alone could never provide. One afternoon, Lily and the cowboy were helping an elderly farmer repair a fence. Lily struggled to lift a heavy plank of wood, and the cowboy stepped forward immediately, taking it from her hands. "You don't need to do everything alone," he said with a gentle smile. Lily laughed, brushing her hands on her dress. "I know, but I want to help. I like working outside, learning new things. It makes me feel capable." He nodded. "That's good. You should always feel capable. It is part of what makes you strong." Strength, Lily realized, was not about how others saw her, but how she felt about herself. In his presence, she discovered a quiet courage, a willingness to step forward and be noticed without fear or hesitation. Meanwhile, the townspeople began to adjust. Some older residents still muttered about broken tradition, but even they could not deny the respect the cowboy had earned through his actions. Families who had once been skeptical nodded politely, and neighbors began to invite him to meals or conversations. The town slowly accepted that, while the festival might have been disrupted, good character and sincerity mattered more than rigid customs. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, Lily and the cowboy walked along the riverbank. The water reflected the colors of the sunset, and the air was cool and calm. "I've never felt like this before," Lily admitted softly. "Not like anyone has ever seen me, really seen me." The cowboy looked at her, his gaze steady. "You deserve to be seen, Lily, not for what you do for others, but for who you are. That is what matters most." Tears filled her eyes, not from sadness, but from a mix of relief, gratitude, and wonder. She had spent so long in the shadow of her sister, quiet and overlooked, that it was almost unbelievable to feel this level of attention and respect. "Thank you," she whispered. "I don't know what to say." "Then don't say anything," he replied gently. "Just be yourself." "That is enough." Over the following days, the bond between Lily and the cowboy grew stronger. They shared meals, conversations, and quiet moments of laughter. Lily felt herself opening up in ways she had never imagined, trusting someone outside her family to see her for who she truly was. Her parents, once wary, began to notice her happiness and were cautiously supportive. Even Emma started to understand that her sister's joy mattered more than the traditions she had always upheld. The town, too, began to accept the changes. People learned that sometimes love and kindness could outweigh strict adherence to tradition. Children watched the interactions between Lily and the cowboy, learning lessons about courage, respect, and the importance of seeing the good in others. By the end of the week, Willow Creek had settled into a rhythm once again. The harvest festival was over, but the impact of the cowboy's visit remained. Lily had gained confidence, a sense of self-worth, and the beginnings of a connection that could change her life. Emma had learned a valuable lesson about humility and the importance of supporting those you love, even when it challenges your expectations. And the town had been reminded that life often surprises you, and that true character shines brighter than tradition. As night fell and the stars twinkled over the quiet town, Lily sat by her window, thinking about everything that had happened. The cowboy had shown her that it was possible to be chosen, not by ceremony or expectation, but by someone who recognized her worth. The thought made her smile, a real, deep smile that came from the heart. She knew her life was about to change, and though the future was uncertain, she felt ready to embrace it. Days turned into weeks, and Willow Creek slowly returned to its usual rhythm, yet the presence of the cowboy continued to stir excitement. Lily found herself thinking of him constantly, wondering what he would do next or what story he had yet to share. Each morning she awoke with a mixture of anticipation and nervous energy, eager to see him again. Even simple tasks like tending to the garden or feeding the chickens became brighter, knowing he might stop by to help or speak. The cowboy, whose name was Jack, had quickly become a familiar sight in the town. He was polite to everyone, hardworking and steady, never seeking attention but naturally drawing it. Children ran to greet him, admiring the way he could handle horses and fix broken fences. Farmers appreciated his willingness to lend a hand without expecting payment. Jack's quiet confidence and good nature impressed not only Lily but also the townspeople who had initially been skeptical of his sudden arrival. One afternoon, Jack invited Lily to accompany him to the outskirts of town, where he needed to help mend a fence along the riverbank. Emma stayed behind, claiming she had chores to finish, though she watched them from a distance, her emotions conflicted. Pride, curiosity, and a lingering tinge of jealousy swirled in her heart. She wanted to support her sister, but she couldn't deny the ache of seeing someone else share the attention she'd expected for herself. Lily and Jack walked along the path that led to the fence. the warm sun on their backs and a gentle breeze carrying the scent of grass and wildflowers. The sound of the river rushing nearby created a peaceful rhythm, and Lily found herself relaxing more with every step. Jack's presence was calming, as if nothing outside of their shared task mattered. "You've changed since the festival," Jack said quietly, his eyes steady on hers. "I can see it. You're more confident, more sure of yourself." Lily felt a small blush rise to her cheeks. "I don't know if that's true," she replied, brushing a stray hair from her face. "I just feel different, I suppose. Something about what happened at the festival, it made me think about myself in a way I never have before." Jack nodded thoughtfully. "Sometimes it only takes one moment to see ourselves clearly. Most of the time people never get that chance. But you've taken it." The words lingered in Lily's mind, giving her a strange sense of courage. For so long she had been quiet and cautious, content to remain in the shadows while her sister was admired and praised. Yet now she could feel her own worth, independent of tradition or expectation. She glanced at Jack, noticing the sincerity in his gaze, and felt a rush of warmth and gratitude. When they reached the fence, Jack handed her a hammer and a few nails. "You can help if you like," he said. "Or just watch. Either is fine." Lily took the hammer with a small, determined smile. She had never done much work with tools before, but under Jack's guidance, she quickly learned the proper way to hold it, swing it, and secure the boards. He was patient, demonstrating each step with care, correcting her gently when needed, and praising her for every small success. "You're a quick learner," he said, nodding. "Most people would give up halfway, but you stick with it." Lily laughed softly, a sound that seemed to surprise even her. "I suppose I just want to try," she said. "And I like learning new things." Jack smiled, and for a moment they worked in companionable silence. The rhythm of hammering, the swish of the river, and the warm afternoon sun created a sense of peace that Lily hadn't felt in a long time. She realized that this moment, simple as it was, felt significant. It wasn't about the festival, the attention, or even the excitement of being noticed. It was about connection, trust, and being treated with respect. As they finished the fence, Jack stepped back and admired their work. "Looks solid," he said. "I'd trust my horse behind it any day." Lily smiled, proud of what they had accomplished. "Thank you for showing me how," she said quietly. "I never thought I could do this." Jack's eyes softened. "You can do more than you think. You just need the right guidance, and someone who believes in you." Their time together grew into a routine. Each day Lily learned something new: how to care for the animals, how to tend the fields, how to perform tasks she had once thought beyond her abilities. Jack encouraged her, not in a way that made her feel pressured, but in a way that nurtured her confidence and independence. Slowly, she began to realize that her world was bigger than she had imagined. At home, Emma observed these changes with mixed feelings. She saw Lily's eyes shine with excitement and her laughter come freely, and she began to understand that her sister's happiness mattered more than her own pride. Emma knew that she could not compete with this new bond, and yet she could offer support. One evening, she approached Lily in the kitchen. "You're different," Emma said softly. "I can see it. I'm glad, I think. It's just new for me seeing you so happy." Lily smiled at her sister, a warmth in her eyes. "I know it's new. I feel different too. But it's good, Emma. I'm learning things, feeling things I never have. And I want you to be part of it, not feel left out." Emma nodded, feeling a small weight lift from her shoulders. "I'll try," she said. "I really will." However, not everyone in Willow Creek was as accepting. Some townspeople still whispered about the disruption of tradition. They wondered whether a stranger should have the power to change what had always been customary. Yet, as Jack continued to prove himself through hard work and kindness, even the skeptics began to soften. They realized that his actions spoke louder than his disruption, and that Lily's happiness was genuine and heartfelt. One evening, Jack and Lily sat near the riverbank, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The sky was painted in gold, pink, and soft purple hues. Lily leaned back on her hands, her hair glowing in the fading light. "I never imagined this," she said softly. "I never thought my life could feel like this." Jack turned to her, his expression gentle. "Life has a way of surprising us," he said. "Sometimes it takes courage to step into the unknown. You did that yesterday at the festival, and now you're learning more about yourself every day." Lily felt a wave of gratitude and admiration for him. He wasn't just a stranger who had disrupted tradition. He was someone who saw her worth when she hadn't fully seen it herself. She realized that what had started as a surprise encounter had become the beginning of a new chapter in her life. Yet, despite the growing connection, Lily also felt a hint of fear. What if things changed too quickly? What if the town's skepticism or her family's concerns caused trouble? She hesitated to voice these worries, afraid that it might ruin the bond that had formed between her and Jack. Jack seemed to sense her unease. "It's okay to be unsure," he said gently. "No one expects you to have all the answers. Life isn't about knowing everything. It's about taking steps, learning as you go, and trusting yourself." Lily nodded, comforted by his words. She realized that the uncertainty she felt was normal, and that it did not diminish the joy she experienced. She had the chance to grow, to learn, and to explore a connection that felt authentic and real. The following days brought new challenges. Some of the town's elders questioned the propriety of Lily spending so much time with a stranger. They asked her parents whether she was safe and whether their family approved of this arrangement. Lily's parents, though initially cautious, could see the happiness in their daughter's eyes and recognized Jack's integrity. They offered measured support, ensuring that boundaries were respected while allowing Lily to pursue this new friendship. Emma, too, faced her own internal challenge. She had always valued recognition and admiration, yet she now saw that love, kindness, and genuine connection were far more meaningful. She struggled with lingering jealousy but worked to redirect her feelings into support for her sister. Slowly, Emma came to understand that this experience was not about her being overlooked, but about Lily discovering a part of life she had never known. One afternoon, while helping Jack repair a small barn, Lily reflected on everything that had happened since the festival. She had learned to trust herself, to step into the world with confidence, and to embrace new experiences. She had discovered that courage was not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. And most importantly, she had realized that being seen and valued for who she truly was brought a joy deeper than any recognition or tradition could offer. By the end of the week, Lily and Jack's bond had strengthened. They laughed together, shared stories of their pasts, and supported each other in small but meaningful ways. Their connection was no longer simply a novelty or surprise. It had become a foundation for trust, respect, and understanding. Lily felt herself growing into someone stronger, more confident, and more capable than she had ever imagined. As night fell over Willow Creek, Lily lay in bed reflecting on her journey. She thought about the festival, the unexpected arrival of Jack, the support of her family, and the lessons she had learned. She felt a sense of calm and purpose, knowing that her life was changing in meaningful ways. She was no longer just the quiet, overlooked sister. She was someone capable of courage, growth, and love. The river flowed gently in the distance, carrying away the worries of yesterday and bringing hope for tomorrow. Lily closed her eyes, ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing that she had already taken the first steps toward a life she had never dared to imagine. Autumn arrived in Willow Creek, painting the town and surrounding fields with shades of gold and red. The days grew shorter, and the crisp air carried the scent of fallen leaves and harvest crops. Lily felt the change in the season, but even more, she felt the change within herself. Her days with Jack had become routine, in a comforting way. They worked side by side, shared meals, and spent quiet evenings walking along the river or talking in the fields. She felt confident, capable, and most importantly, noticed for who she truly was. However, not everyone welcomed this change. Some townspeople, especially those who valued tradition above all else, began to question Jack's presence more openly. Whispers turned into pointed remarks, and cautious glances followed Lily whenever she walked through the market or attended community gatherings. A few neighbors even asked her parents whether she was spending too much time with a stranger, someone who had arrived suddenly and claimed attention in a way that broke long-held customs. Lily's parents were concerned too. While they recognized Jack's good character, they worried about the town's opinion and how it might affect their family. Her father, a man of steady principles and respect for tradition, called a family meeting one evening. "Lily," he began, his voice firm but kind, "we need to talk about this situation. Jack is clearly a good man, but you must understand that people are watching, judging. It is not enough for you alone to be happy. The town, our family, and the way things have always been done matter too." Lily listened carefully, her heart tightening slightly. She knew he was right, at least in part. Tradition had been important to Willow Creek for generations, and any disruption could bring consequences. Still, she felt a quiet resolve growing inside her. "I understand, Father," she said softly, "but I also feel that what Jack and I share is real. I want to see where it goes, even if it is unexpected. I don't want to ignore what I feel because of what others think." Her father sighed, leaning back in his chair. "I cannot stop you from feeling what you feel," he admitted. "But you must promise to be careful. Think not just of yourself, but of our family and the town. You must not let your emotions lead you into trouble." Lily nodded solemnly. "I promise." Emma, sitting nearby, watched silently. She could see the determination in her sister's eyes and the subtle way she had begun to take charge of her own life. Emma felt a mix of pride and apprehension. She wanted Lily to be happy, yet she feared the town's disapproval might harm her family or put Lily at risk. The tension increased the following week. During the town's weekly market, a group of older townsfolk approached Lily and Jack. Their tone was polite but firm. "We respect your presence here, Jack," one of them said, "but Willow Creek has traditions for a reason. Young women are chosen with care and they represent their families. Your sudden appearance and claim on Lily has unsettled many. We must ask you to consider stepping back." Jack listened carefully, his expression calm but serious. "I understand your concern," he said respectfully. "I do not wish to disrespect anyone or the town. My intention was never to challenge tradition for its own sake. I simply saw a young woman who deserved to be noticed and treated with respect. I am willing to step back if that is what Lily and her family wish, but I will not leave because of fear or gossip alone." Lily felt a surge of gratitude and pride. Jack's honesty, calm demeanor, and respect for her choices made her love him more deeply. She stepped forward, speaking clearly to the group. "I appreciate your concern," she said, "but I am the one living my life. Jack has been kind, honest, and patient. I choose to spend time with him, to learn from him, and to trust him. I will not let fear of what others think prevent me from making my own decisions. I hope you can respect that." There was a tense silence. Some of the elders nodded reluctantly, acknowledging her courage. Others remained skeptical but chose not to argue further, at least for the moment. Despite this, not all challenges came from outside. Lily and Jack's growing bond brought new emotions to Emma, who sometimes felt left out or uncertain of her place. She had always been close to her sister, but now it seemed that Lily had stepped into a new world, one that Emma had yet to fully understand. One evening, Emma spoke to Lily privately. "I'm happy for you," she said, her voice soft but honest. "I really am, but I also feel a little lost. Things are changing, and I'm not sure where I fit in anymore." Lily reached for her sister's hand. "Emma, you will always fit in. Nothing has changed that. What has changed is that I am learning about myself and my own choices. That doesn't mean I don't love you or need you. You are still my sister, my family, and my guide in so many ways." Emma smiled faintly, feeling some of the weight lift from her shoulders. She realized that supporting her sister did not diminish her own value. It strengthened their bond. As the days passed, Jack continued to earn the trust of the community through small acts of kindness and hard work. He helped neighbors repair roofs, guided the children in safely handling animals, and even assisted in the town's small school, teaching reading and writing in ways that engaged the students. Slowly, the skeptical voices softened, replaced by curiosity and cautious acceptance. However, a new challenge emerged. One afternoon, while Lily was walking to the market, she overheard a conversation between two townsfolk. "She shouldn't be allowed to ignore tradition," one of them whispered. "It will set a bad example. What if other young women follow her lead? What will happen to our way of life?" Lily felt her heart tighten. She had thought the town was beginning to accept her choices, but here was evidence that not everyone had moved on. Fear and doubt crept into her mind, making her question whether she was doing the right thing. She remembered Jack's words. Life was about taking steps, learning as you go, and trusting herself. That evening, she shared her concerns with Jack. "Some people are still unhappy with what happened," she said. "They say I am breaking tradition, and I feel guilty sometimes, even though I know I have done nothing wrong." Jack listened, his eyes steady and reassuring. "Lily, you are brave. You are doing what is right for yourself and your family. Tradition is important, but it is not the only measure of value or happiness. People may complain, but that does not make you wrong. You have to trust yourself." Lily nodded, comforted by his presence. She realized that courage was not only about standing up in front of the town, but also about trusting her own heart in the face of doubt. As the days grew colder, Jack suggested they take on a larger project together, repairing the old barn on the edge of the Thompson property. It was a difficult task, requiring strength, patience, and cooperation. Lily approached it with determination, knowing that this work symbolized not just physical labor, but the building of trust, confidence, and resilience. Each day they worked together from dawn until dusk. Jack taught her how to handle the tools, measure the wood carefully, and plan each repair step. Lily listened, practiced, and gradually improved. They laughed at mistakes, celebrated small successes, and shared quiet moments that deepened their bond. Through the hard work, Lily felt herself becoming stronger, more capable, and more self-assured. Meanwhile, Emma continued to observe quietly. She began to see that Lily's growth was not only about Jack's influence, but also about her own courage and determination. Emma realized that she, too, could learn from this experience, how to face challenges, support others, and find her place in a world that was changing. One afternoon, as they finished repairing the last section of the barn, Jack stepped back and admired their work. "It looks better than I imagined," he said, smiling. "You did all of this, Lily. You worked hard, learned quickly, and never gave up. You should be proud." Lily felt a deep sense of satisfaction. "I am proud," she said softly. "And grateful. You taught me so much, Jack. Not just about work, but about courage and trusting myself." Jack nodded. "And you taught me too, Lily. You reminded me why it is important to notice the good in people, to be patient, and to let someone grow at their own pace. We have learned from each other." As the sun set, casting long shadows across the fields, Lily and Jack walked back toward the Thompson home. The air was crisp and cool, and the sky glowed with the soft light of twilight. Lily felt a quiet joy, knowing that despite the challenges, she had found someone who respected her, encouraged her, and shared her values. That night, as she lay in bed, Lily reflected on the events of the past weeks. The festival, the town's skepticism, the whispers, and the challenges had tested her in ways she never expected. Yet through it all, she had grown stronger, more confident, and more aware of what she wanted from life. She knew there would still be obstacles ahead, but for the first time she felt prepared to face them. She thought of Jack, of his steady presence and unwavering support, and of the courage it took to step forward in a world that could be harsh and judgmental. She realized that love and trust were not simple, but they were worth the effort, patience, and risk. And she felt a quiet determination that no matter what challenges arose, she would continue to grow, to learn, and to embrace the life she had chosen for herself. Winter was approaching in Willow Creek. Frost coated the edges of the river, and the bare trees shivered in the cold wind. Yet, despite the chill, there was warmth in the Thompson household. Lily had grown more confident and capable with each passing day, and her bond with Jack had deepened into something steady, honest, and meaningful. Their connection was no longer just a spark of curiosity. It had become a strong foundation built on trust, respect, and understanding. The town had slowly come to accept Jack's presence. While some still whispered about tradition and proper conduct, most recognized that he had acted with integrity, helped the community, and treated Lily with genuine care. His quiet efforts to integrate into Willow Creek had earned him respect, even from those who were initially skeptical. One afternoon, Jack approached Lily with a small, thoughtful expression on his face. "Lily," he began, "I've been thinking. We've spent a lot of time together, learning, working, and talking. But I want to know what you truly want. Not what tradition says, not what anyone else thinks, but what you feel in your heart." Lily looked at him, her breath catching slightly. I want to be with you, Jack," she said softly. "I've never felt this way before. I want to continue learning, growing, and sharing life with you. I want us to face challenges together and build something real." Jack smiled, a gentle warmth in his eyes. "That's all I could hope for. I promise to stand by you, support you, and respect your choices. Whatever comes, we face it together." The two of them spent the day preparing the Thompson home for the coming winter. They chopped wood, repaired fences, and helped Lily's parents with the household chores. Each action, small as it seemed, strengthened their partnership. Lily felt proud, not only of what they accomplished, but of how far she had come. She no longer felt timid or overlooked. She had discovered courage, independence, and the confidence to make her own choices. Emma observed quietly, feeling a mixture of admiration and contentment. She had seen Lily grow from the quiet younger sister into a strong, capable young woman. Emma had also learned her own lessons about humility, support, and the importance of family over pride. The sisters had grown closer than ever, their bond strengthened by shared challenges, joy, and understanding. The following week, the town held a small winter gathering, a less formal event than the Harvest Festival, but still important in Willow Creek's social calendar. Families came together to celebrate the changing season, share meals, and enjoy music by the fireplace. This gathering provided an opportunity for Lily, Jack, and the Thompson family to show that harmony between tradition and personal choice was possible. As Lily and Jack arrived, whispers followed them through the room. Some townspeople exchanged skeptical glances, but many nodded politely, recognizing the respect and dignity in their behavior. Jack helped Lily navigate the crowd, introducing himself with warmth and courtesy, and Lily felt proud of how naturally he fit in despite being an outsider. At one point, the mayor approached Lily's family. "I've been hearing about your work together," he said, his voice cautious but polite. "It seems that Jack has proven himself to be reliable and kind. The town may have concerns at first, but it seems you've both handled things with respect and patience." Lily's father nodded, a proud expression on his face. "It hasn't been easy, but Jack has shown he can be trusted. More importantly, Lily has grown in ways we couldn't have imagined. I see now that the heart matters more than strict adherence to tradition." The mayor smiled slightly, and the room's tension seemed to lift. Even those who had been skeptical began to accept that life could be guided by kindness, courage, and personal choice, without abandoning the values they held dear. As the evening continued, Lily and Jack found a quiet spot near the fireplace. The warmth of the fire contrasted with the cold outside, and the soft music created a comforting atmosphere. They held hands and spoke in whispers, sharing their thoughts and hopes for the future. "I feel like we've been through so much already," Lily said softly. "The festival, the town's opinions, the work on the farm, it feels like everything led us to this moment." Jack nodded. "It did. Every challenge, every step has brought us closer, made us stronger, and we've learned to trust each other and ourselves. That's what matters most." Lily smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace. She realized that she no longer feared the opinions of others or the weight of tradition. She had discovered her own strength and the value of making choices guided by her heart. She leaned against Jack, feeling the security of his presence and the comfort of knowing she had someone to face life's challenges with. Meanwhile, Emma approached, carrying a tray of warm drinks. She handed one to Lily, then to Jack, and smiled. "I want to say, I'm proud of both of you," she said. "I've watched Lily grow and Jack prove himself. You've both shown courage, patience, and respect." Lily hugged her sister warmly. "Thank you, Emma. Your support means everything to me. I'm glad we're on this journey together." Jack extended a hand to Emma, who shook it with a smile. "It's a pleasure to know you," he said. "I hope we can continue to work together, support each other, and make life better for everyone." The evening ended with laughter, stories, and shared memories. The warmth of family and community wrapped around Lily, Jack, and Emma like a comforting blanket. Lily realized that happiness was not just about being chosen or noticed. It was about connection, respect. She had learned to embrace the unexpected, trust herself, and welcome the kindness of others without fear. In the following days, Lily and Jack worked on plans for the future. They discussed expanding the barn, helping the community with winter preparations, and spending more time together learning new skills. Every task, every conversation strengthened their bond and solidified their commitment to each other. Lily knew that while life would continue to bring challenges, she was ready to face them with courage, confidence, and the support of someone who truly cared for her. Even the town's skeptical voices had softened. People recognized that Jack's influence had not disrupted Willow Creek, but had instead brought positive change. Families noticed the cooperation, respect, and genuine kindness that he and Lily shared. Children admired Lily's courage and independence, learning that strength and confidence were as important as tradition. Emma continued to support her sister, learning valuable lessons about humility, love, and the importance of family. She found joy in witnessing Lily's growth and the happiness she had discovered with Jack. The sisters had emerged stronger, closer, and more connected than ever before. As winter settled in, Jack and Lily walked along the river one final time before the snow began to fall. The water glistened in the fading sunlight, reflecting the gold and red leaves that clung stubbornly to the trees. Lily took a deep breath, feeling the crisp air fill her lungs, and realized how much she had grown. "I never imagined life could feel like this," she said softly. "I never thought I could be seen, respected, and loved for who I am." Jack smiled, taking her hand. "You deserve it, Lily. You've earned it through courage, patience, and honesty, and will continue to earn our happiness together, one step at a time." Lily felt a sense of peace, knowing that her journey had led her here. She had learned to trust herself, embrace the unexpected, and value genuine connection over tradition or expectation. The challenges, doubts, and fears she had faced only strengthened her resolve. She had discovered courage, independence, and love in its truest form. As the first snowflakes began to fall, Lily and Jack stood together, watching the town and the river beyond. They held hands, knowing that life would continue to bring challenges, but confident that they could face them together. Willow Creek had changed, just as they had. and the future felt full of promise, hope, and joy. The Thompson family gathered inside their warm home, enjoying the comfort of the fire, laughter, and the bonds they had strengthened through the months. Emma smiled, watching her sister and Jack, realizing that love, courage, and kindness could overcome fear, skepticism, and tradition. Lily rested her head against Jack's shoulder, feeling safe, seen, and ready for whatever came next. She had been chosen not by ceremony, tradition, or expectation, but by someone who recognized her worth and by her own courage to embrace the unexpected. In that moment, surrounded by family, friends, and the quiet beauty of Willow Creek, Lily understood that true happiness came from following the heart, trusting yourself, and welcoming life's surprises with open arms. And so, the story of Lily, Jack, and Willow Creek came to a gentle and satisfying close, not as an ending, but as the beginning of a life built on trust, respect, and love, with lessons learned that would guide them forever.